With non-conference basketball wrapping up last week, the Grizz men's team could breathe a sigh of relief as no games were canceled and 2 were added during that portion of their schedule, meaning the Grizz earned their guaranteed game payouts from the high major schools that they were ultimately able to play. Montana said it had to change its non-conference schedule 8 times before the season started due to the pandemic. Head coach Travis DeCuire said earlier this month that scheduling the teams they did wasn't hard, but there were still compromises to be made, including taking lower payouts from schools than they would in a typical season.
But we saw that coming. We knew that, and it was part of the reason we were trying to get games where we could bus, but we just couldn't get them. So we were forced to fly to a lot of places just because it was either not play non-conference games or get on a plane.
It wasn't like a hard bargain, but one of those situations where you have to be willing to compromise or else you're not going to get anything done, because nobody was in a situation to do anything, any strong arming.
With each game played, Montana is set to earn a total of $255,000 from its 4 high major games. The most comes from Georgia with $90,000, which is a typical amount in a normal season. Arizona agreed to pay $70,000, while Washington, which Montana beat, agreed to a $50,000 sum. USC rounds them out with $45,000. While still a lot of money coming in, it's a stark difference from last season when Montana made $355,000 in 4 games against high major opponents. Playing those high major games affects DeCuire's incentives in his contract and is also a huge recruiting tool used for the Grizz when recruiting players and the draw of big games. Regional games and home games are the most challenging non-conference contests to schedule at Montana, especially this season, but this year teams couldn't be as picky in the past when ultimately the Grizz did build their non-conference schedule.
In the past, every coach has waited for that perfect game, or they've been on the search for that perfect game. This year, I think as soon as you found a game that made sense, you grabbed it. And I know just seeing the contracts coming through, they were coming through faster and with more urgency than in years past.
In Missoula, Kyle Hansen, MTN Sports.